And all the directions for everything except for the very last problem are solved. So the very first problem that we have here on the left is 2/9 D equals 10. Unmute yourself or in the chat tell me what I should do.
Divide 2/9, but instead of dividing the fraction, multiply by the reciprocal.
Yay, Jill. She said
I know the song.
Yeah, I know. Good. I'm proud of you. She knows the song from my cousin, the famous rap musician. Let me see. I'm going to multiply both sides by 9/2. There you have it. If it makes you feel better, you can turn regular 10 into 10/1, right? And then you could say 10 times 9 is 90, and 1 times 2 is 2, and 90 divided by 2 is... Let's try that again.
45.
Yes. Paul, you in the deep voice. Very good. What property do I do first to begin the problem on the right?
Distributive.
Sure do. You sure do. Two of our friends jumped in on that one. So I got 3 times 20, which is 60. And I got 3 times negative b, which is negative 3b. And that equals 36. Is b all by itself? No, of course not. Otherwise, we wouldn't, if it was, we wouldn't be doing this. We know what to do. I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. Negative 3b equals, what is that? Negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 3. And someone unmute thyself and tell me what you get.
8.
8 is great. You could write it this way, and you can write it that way. That's from The Count, from the Sesame Street. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's a genius. What do I do now? Well, I have 37. I'm going to do this guy right here. I have 37 plus W equals 5W minus 27. I heard someone unmute themselves, and if that person wants to tell me what to do, go right ahead.
Subtract W on both sides.
Good. I actually have 4 options here, but the one that I would do first is exactly what was just said. Subtract W. It's always best to get rid of one of the variables first. It's just cleaner that way. Not that it's necessary. I just think it's better. And I prefer getting rid of the smallest of the variables because it keeps things positive. So I'm gonna drop down to 37. I'm gonna drop down 5W minus W is 4W minus 27. We know what to do. I'm gonna add 27 to both sides. I'm gonna add 27 to both sides. What does that give me? 64?
Yes.
Thank you. And then we divide both sides by 4. And I get 16 equals W. But there's something about this that I don't like. Who remembers what it is?
You don't like the variable on the right. You like it on the left.
That's exact. Thank you. I was raised in a very strict home that said, keep your variables on the left or go to your room. And I can't shake that for some reason.
Why would any parent teach their kids about that?
Listen, I'm not saying I had good parents. I'm just saying that that's the way they taught me. And I don't need your judgment, all right?
Did they teach you how to beat up the mailman too?
Listen, I didn't get 400 followers, so there was no beating up mailmen needed.
Okay, by the end of this month.
Okay, done. Deal.
Okay.
That's going to be easy.
I vow to beat up my mail. No, I didn't say beat up. I said fight my mailman.
Okay, you have to record it, though.
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Let it be known that by the end of the month, if I get 400 subscribers on my YouTube, I will fight my mailman and record it and post it on social media for all to see. And if it doesn't happen, I'm a liar And shame on me for lying to my students. Distributive property yet again. I have a fourth, a quarter, if you will, and I'm going to take a quarter of n. So I'm going to take a quarter of n and a quarter of 5. Somebody tell me what 1/4 of 5 is and keep it in proper, please.
5/4.
Just like the problem that we did up here, if you're multiplying a whole number to a fraction, you just multiply the whole number to the numerator and keep the denominator. It's no different here. 1 times 5 is 5, and 4 is just 4. But, you know, common sense would tell you that if I have 5 quarters, I'm going to end up with 5 quarters. That's going to equal 16. Ew, yuck. I probably should have, well, tell you what, I put a line there, but it's not too late. I can make that line look like a fraction. What could I turn 16 into? And I'll give you a bit of a hint. Look to your left. Well, hold on. Look to your left. What could I turn 16 into that would probably make my life a little bit easier for this problem?
4/4.
Say again?
4/4.
Okay, so I would take the 16 and multiply it by 4/4. So let's just do that up here.
Okay.
What? Somebody said something.
This is 64/4.
Yeah, it is 64/4. Now, that was complete accident that I went from here to here, but it just so happened that one thing transitioned nicely to another. And isn't that life sometimes where you don't think something's going to happen, but boy, oh boy, it just does. Now, all these fractions, gross. Nobody likes fractions, but it's not that bad. The process is exactly the same. What do I do first?
Subtract 5/4.
Good. Subtract 5/4, subtract 5/4. So that gives me 1/4 n equals, keep it in proper.
59/4.
Good, 59/4. Remember, when you're subtracting fractions, if the denominators are exactly the same, and for those of you who are wondering why I did that in the first place, I knew I was going to have to subtract a fraction. And people who could look ahead could see it too. And it would be a good idea to turn this guy into something over 4 so I can subtract fractions and not have it be a world ender. And it wasn't. 59/4 is not that bad. In fact, 59 is 40 problems short of how many Jay-Z had, how many problems Jay-Z had. But actually, this is quite nice. This is quite nice. What am I going to do to both sides? I mean, there's a good idea and there's a bad idea. What's the good idea? Or a phrase? And Jill, this is probably when you would want to chime in.
Instead of dividing the fraction, multiply by the reciprocal.
Hey, what's the reciprocal of 1/4?
4.
4. And there's a little trick in math, and you've seen this a bunch of times, that goes like this. And so what's my answer?
59.
Yeah. Yep. I've got 59 problems, but this math problem ain't one. You guys like rap? Okay, don't answer.
I like wrapping gifts.
I didn't hear it correctly.
You what?
I didn't hear it correctly.
Oh, I asked if you guys like rap music. Rap.
Yeah.
I mean the real one, not that new stuff anymore. It's not.
I'll give you $1,000 if you can tell me who Jay-Z is married to.
Beyonce.
Nope, Kelly Rowland. All right, the next problem is, oh no, that's not an equal sign. That's a greater than or equal sign. So should the rules change really that much? No. There's just one thing with inequalities that I have to remember. And what's the one thing that I have to remember?
When dividing by a negative number, always flip the sign.
Absolutely. If you divide or multiply by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So nothing changes as far as doing this problem. I'm going to subtract 15. I'm going to subtract 15, cross you out. I have negative 2z as opposed to negative jz. That guy just keeps coming up today. Equals negative 11. I'm going to now divide both sides by -2, which means what again?
Flip the sign.
Not to flip the sign.
Gotta flip the sign. So there it is, flipped. I like to keep my fraction improper, so it's +11 over +2. Ew, fractions, yes. I'm gonna circle that. And I'm gonna quick graph it because it doesn't take me that long to graph this, so I'm just gonna graph it while we're here. I'm gonna make myself a number line. All right. Line, 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 line. What's 11 over 2 as a decimal?
5.5?
Sure is. So I'm going to put 5 here.
Oh, yeah.
6 here, 7, 8, 9, 4, 3. If I don't give you a number line, right, or if future teachers don't give you a number line, make your own. I think one of the deep voice gentlemen, I didn't see who it was, probably Paul, because he's got the man voice, said 5.5. So I'm going to put the circle at 5.5. What must I do with that circle?
Fill it
Fill it
in.
in.
Yes. Am I going to the left or to the right?
To the left.
To the left. And the reason why I always put my variable on the left side is because the symbol here acts as an arrow telling me which direction to graph to. Okay, so that whole thing about my dad and my mom being mentally abusive, that was, well, that part's true, but the whole putting the variable on the left, that was a lie. It's all because if I have my variable on the left, that acts as an arrow. So there you have it. Okay. Good job, gang. What do I do to start this next one?
Try to get the K by itself.
Yeah, so step 1. Okay, I got it. Plus 20. Plus 20. I have -2/5 K is less than or equal to that. Now what? And tell me everything. Tell me everything. No. Somebody mute her. Gosh, it's so embarrassing. My cousin. What do I do? Okay, so she said it. She was waiting for it. Instead of dividing the fraction, multiply the reciprocal. In this case, that means something special. What special thing does that mean in this case? Oh, what special thing does that mean? I can mute, you're right. No one's answering. Please answer me.
Flip the sign.
Flip the sign. So I almost wrote less than or equal to. Now I'm going to put greater than or equal to. I have negative 30 times 5 is 150 over 2, which simplifies to what?
75. -75.
-75. Good. So I'm going to make my own number line, as I did last time, and I'm going to put -75 right there in the middle, and then -74, and then -73, and over here -76 and -77. I'm going to put a circle smack dab on. Athena, do me a favor. Can you mute yourself? You got a little bit of background noise, kiddo. Thanks, Bull. I'm going to put a circle here on -75. I'm going to do what with it?
Fill it in because it's equal to the bottom.
Fill it in because it's equal to. Very good. And then what? Go where?
Go to the right.
Yes, sir. Now, what this means, by definition, what inequalities mean is inequality literally means not equal. inequality. So it's not equal to. So any number, including negative 75, negative 74, negative 73, negative 70, 0, 1,000, any number to the right of negative 75, if I were to plug into that k in the original problem, would make the statement true. So if I said 1,000, 1,000's way over there. If I said 1,000 and plugged it into k, I will get something that's less than or equal to negative 10 after I did all the math on the left. That's what inequalities mean. Okay, so those are the inequalities. I believe we have one more, maybe two. One more inequality, and then a nightmare problem, and then a not-so-nightmare problem. Okay? Look at that. Look at all those colors. Pretty colors. Yeah. Yeah. Boop. 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 Santi, not only do I work in school, but my work is school. What do I do first?
Probably add an M to both sides.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. And by doing that, it's going to give me a tiny bit of trouble in the end. But you know what? In the end, it doesn't even matter. Lincoln Park. I'm going to drop down the 2. I'm going to drop down the less than or equal to 7 minus 12. We know what to do. So I'm going to do it. 2 and 12 make 14. 14 is less than or equal to m. 7m, sorry, 7m. Divide both sides by 7, divide both sides by 7, and I have 2 is less than or equal to m. I hate it. What should I do? And be very careful.
Move. No, you go.
Go.
Are you going to go?
Awkward. What?
Go.
Yes, thank you, Camilla. M is not, now she said M is greater than or equal to 2. When you flip everything, you literally flip everything. Okay, so if your choice is to move M to the left, you have to flip the sign as well. If 2 is less than M, then M is greater than 2. Okay, only makes sense. So when I make my number line 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a circle at 2. I'm going to do what with that circle? Tell me, please. Please tell me. I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm going to go in which direction?
To the right.
Yeah. So this one had the potential of being a problem, but it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem at all. Now, the thing that you're going to see on the right, you're going to hate. You're going to look at it and you're going to want to say, ew. And I'll give you the opportunity to unmute yourself and say, ew. Go ahead.
Ew. Disgusting.
Ew.
Ew. Why?
Gross.
Ew.
Makes me want to throw up.
Gross.
Anybody got a last one? Chris is afraid of his voice, apparently.
Oh my God, that is so disgusting. Help me.
Ew, math.
Well, don't say that. That's hurtful. All right. If you remember from the videos and from everything else, there's 3 different ways. This is called a system of equations. And there's 3 different, oh my gosh, Chris. And there's 3 different ways that you can do this type of problem. You could do it by graphing, you could do it by substitution, you could do it by elimination. If you remember the methods well enough, which one now I'm not going to do graphing. Obviously, I'm not going to do graphing because first off, I don't have a graph here. And second, these problems don't lend itself well. I'm going to kick you out, Chris. These methods or these equations don't lend itself well to graphing. So What would you do, substitution or elimination?
Substitution.
Okay, we have a substitution fanatic here. Why?
This seems easier than elimination when you don't have anything to cross out.
Okay. So substitution's not that bad. Substitution's not that bad because up here, M has no coefficient. And so if Chris, you could stop. M has no coefficient. So if I wanted to get M all by itself, it's not that bad. So let's see how much room I have here. Chris, the next step is I'm booting you. You can stop, please. Thanks. Is he still doing it?
Oh, I think he put so much that it's taking the computer a while to load all the messages he put.
He can speak for himself. Chris, unmute yourself.
Can we have a courtroom now? The defendant, Mr. Parrish, why he chooses Zeus Christopher?
What is he doing? Is this what
Those messages were like 2 minutes ago, so I think it's taking a while.
God. All right.
I don't know if someone types so much.
We're doing substitution? Is that what we want to do?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's
If I wanted to do elimination, it would actually be not that bad. It wouldn't be that bad. I could just multiply the entire top row by 2. So, but substitution is what we said we would do, so we're going to do substitution. I'm going to take the top equation and rewrite it out. And I'm going to solve it for M. Okay? I'm going to solve it for M, which requires one step. What's that one step? If I want to get M all by itself.
Subtract 2R.
Subtract 2R, subtract 2R, cross you out. M equals negative 2R plus 11. That was the, now I could also put 11 minus 2R. I'm just used to making things slope intercept form like. Okay. Now that was the top equation. What I need to do now is take that M and throw it into the bottom equation. All right. So I'm going to take the bottom equation. I'm going to rewrite out the bottom equation, 6R minus 2, but instead of M, I'm going to replace that M with that guy right there, negative 2R plus 11, close parentheses, and then continue writing down the bottom equation. What I did is I solved the top equation for M. I rewrote the other equation, but instead of M, I replaced M with negative 2R plus 11, and now it's just a terrible math problem. So I have 6R. Negative 2 times negative 2R is positive 4R. Negative 2 times 11 is negative 22. The Taylor Swift special, if she's in a bad mood, equals negative 2. 3-word phrase for what I do next.
Combine like the R's.
Combine like R's. Combine like terms. And now it's just a regular two-stepper. So I'm going to add 22, the Taylor Swift special. I'm going to add 22. And I don't know about you, but when I add 22, I get 20. Everything will be all right. I'm going to divide by 10. R equals
So
really, Russ, turn off the music. I have to find M now. Good news. Great news. Up here, I wrote out the equation. Can you still see it? Oh, whoops. I bumped the camera. Up here, I wrote out that M equals negative 2R plus 11. So can't I just take M equals negative 2, but instead of R, put 2 and then plus 11? Can't I just do that? Yes. Yes, I can. -2 times -2 is -4. -4 plus 11. Boys and girls?
7.
Good. So I'm going to put 7. Now, this isn't an X and a Y. So you could write it out as an ordered pair, although I don't like it. I don't feel right doing it. So I'll just put M is 7, R is 2. If you were to write this out as 7, 2, technically, since that's alphabetical order, that would be fine. But, you know, I don't like doing that unless it's specifically an X and a Y. Specifically. Okay, so if I wanted to, after all of that mess, if I wanted to take those numbers and plug them into the top and see if they worked, I could do that, and they would have to work for both. For example, if M is 7 and R is 2, I can go up here and say, okay, if R is 2 and M is 7, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 7 is 11, so I did it right. And as long as it worked for the bottom one, too, I'd be in good shape. I know I did the whole thing right. Okay. As far as 8th grade math goes, that's probably the least, regular 8th grade. I know you guys are seems to get advanced. But, oh, you got something? Math is not mean. You know what's mean? My parents. Now I have the square root of 80. Anybody here know the square root of 80 off the top of your head? No. Liar, you're a liar. Now I know what the square root of 81 is. But if I want to do this and not use a calculator, then I have to go off to the side and make a what?
Factor tree.
A thing. Factor tree. Give me 2 numbers.
240.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on.
2 and 20.
5, 8.
I heard 2 and 20 first. Sorry. But this is 5 and 4.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. No, I have not. No. But that's what I have. I'm going to write out the square root of 80 as dos. Oh, dos is Spanish for 2. And then I have.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I'm sure you weren't aware of that. I'm sure Santiago, you were not aware of that. Now what do I do? I wrote out the square root of 80. I turned it into that. Now what do I do?
You circle pairs.
You sure do. I'd rather circle apples, right, bros? Yes, thank you. Yes. Yes. So I circled a pair of 2s. Bring it out. I circle another pair of 2s. Bring it out. Multiply, of course. Since it's multiplying on the inside, why wouldn't it be multiplying on the outside? What do I have left over? Just a square root of 5. And my final answer is bum, 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 bum. You tell me.
4, the square root of 5. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I love how you apologize to each other for just being super rude. So I have 4 is the square root of 5. But Mr. Parrish, I'm scared that I did it wrong. Oh, I don't know who said that, but that's a good point. Why don't we use what somebody said before and ask Siri what it is? Siri, what's the square root of 80?
The square root of 80 is approximately 8.94427.
Siri, what's 4 times the square root of 5?
The answer is approximately 8.94427.
All right, shut up, you. It's the same thing. So we did it right, and that's great.